All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody that's here and everybody who is home. Welcome to Mayor and Council meeting. It is February 8th, 2024, 7:30 p.m. Linda, will you please call the meeting to order and read the Open Public Meetings Act?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the January 25th, 2024 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website. Councilman Delavatio. Councilwoman Homan. Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Here.
Councilman O'Connell.
Here.
Councilman O'Toole.
Here.
Councilman Yakarino.
Here.
Mayor Wozinski.
Here. Please stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have our approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve January 18th, 2024 meeting minutes?
So moved, Lovasolo.
Second, please.
Even if Matt and I weren't here, can we second it?
Oh,
Yeah, we weren't here.
We may not have a
yeah, we don't.
quorum of those eligible to vote.
We don't.
It has to abstain also.
Okay, well, so we need a
Alright.
motion to table the minute approval to the next meeting.
So moved.
Motion? No. So moved. Yeah, second, please?
Second.
All right.
So if they vote.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
All righty. All right, before agenda review, we have a presentation. We have Peter Lupo here from Hoplite Communications. He's going to talk to us briefly about 5G and some new technology that's going on. I think you did actually come a couple of years ago.
I did.
And we're, now coming around and going to have to make some really, great changes. So come on up. Sure, if that works. I think it'd be better because of the microphone.
Okay. Do you want me to just discuss 5G, or you also want to discuss the tower for the existing tower?
So a brief overview of the 5G would be great, and then we can bring the tower into it.
So 5G, as you know, is the next generation of technology that's coming to New Jersey. They've already started rolling 5G out across Northeast Bergen County. So I represent Bergen County itself, and then several municipalities on the east portion of Bergen County. So Edgewater, for example, are good places, Fort Lee, and they're starting to roll out 5G towers. And the towers are very distinct from where we used to. So right now we have towers that are roughly 164 feet. For example, here in town, there's one right in town. But the way 5G is going to be rolled out is going to be put on utility poles. So instead of being on your traditional monopoles or self-supported towers, they're going to be on 38-foot high conventional wooden utility poles. And they're going to have them because of the technology of 5G. They use a nano technology to propagate their signal. So that's going to be a lot closer together than the way your standard 4G tower is right now. Again, it comes down to the physics of the microwave technology and the limitations of nanotechnology size waves. So that will definitely come here. They're going to go ahead and roll out, as I said before, Bayonne, eastern parts of Hudson, Bergen County, and the like in Essex counties, and it'll start rolling west. I imagine somewhere like Ramsey will probably be last to get 5G or the nanotechnology because of things like population and the size of the lots. They're considerably bigger there than, for example, in Cliffside Park, if I give a good contrasting idea of the different sizes of the population and the home sizes and property sizes. But it is going to be coming eventually here to, all parts of Bergen County, central Bergen County, and western Bergen County. So my proposal was, rather than have to rely on the default kind of FCC style ordinance, that we introduce one that's most advantageous to Allendale, so that when they do come here, you have some control over the way the way technology gets rolled out. Principally, one of the things you should want to be careful of to have control about the aesthetics of the towers that are going to be put in here. Aesthetics obviously important because we may have parts of the town that are sensitive to the way things look. So there are different ways of concealing the technology. So you have a 5G pole, for example, you can make it look like wrought iron, for example, and you have many different types of selections about how the wrought iron pole looks. For example, you can go with more of a stem flute, for example, different types of bases, different types of tops. Those are all possibilities. Also, you might want to have start walking the sites now with maybe members of council or your DPW department, someone who's got an actual understanding of the area, understanding different sensibilities, local sensibilities, and neighbors who may have issues with it, and try to come up with a proposal that we incorporate as part of an ordinance so that we have selected areas that we offer to the carriers as preferences about where they locate the towers. Again, taking into consideration lots, local residents and historical areas and other areas you want to kind of keep and maintain as pull-free as possible. So other things we incorporate there is a requirement for the carriers to recycle existing infrastructure. They don't go in and start building more than you have to, because the right-of-way is a precious commodity. It's limited, and you don't want to have it cluttered unnecessarily. Have things, for example, where there's a noise ordinance, noise restrictions. Some of these boxes hum, make noises that are audible. I've dealt with this a few times where I had to have the carrier come in and have them replace or fix the cabinet because it was exceeding the volume. Also have restrictions on advertising. No one wants Verizon putting a Verizon sign advertising their services. No one in town, I'm sure, wants that. And there are a number of different ways we could, as much as possible, reduce the impact on the community, on the aesthetics and the streetscapes of Allendale that's consistent and compliant with the FCC. So that's really the overview, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, now onto the poll.
Okay. Oh, yes. So we're talking about right now existing 300.
Is that what you're going to talk about, right?
Are we shelving that for a private session or discuss this now?
Oh, why did we have to?
No, we wouldn't have to. Yes.
No, yeah, it was going to be a presentation about, the situation that we're doing with the crowd with,
Crown Castle.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk that now or?
is that?
No. I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure.
Hey, I maybe
Why
not
would
the
you
the
be
fine nuances of the negotiation, but the overview I think is fine.
Yeah, so the overview is this. We have an existing tower right now,
Yeah.
300 Crescent, and it has expired. We did a 1-year renewal. Very wisely, your council decided to only extend it for a year, although they would have loved to have done it for another 20 years. But to caution, got to do 1 year small increment.
Yeah.
It now expires May 31st, 2024. So we're talking a couple of months. It expires, and it is an amazing opportunity for Allendale to monetize on it significantly. And to give a parallel, in Franklin Lakes right now, we're about to release an RFP, the municipality represent, and starting at $7,300 per elevation. We're going to alternate the different elevations, but currently you have 4 wireless carriers on there. It's Dish, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. So it's an opportunity to really make about $250,000 a year that you weren't making before.
Yeah.
That helps with all sorts of things. $250,000 is going to reduce everyone's property taxes by thousands of dollars, but it definitely helps add to the bottom line for the municipality and helps reduce the tax burden on your residents. So the proposal is we already sent a termination notice to Crown Council. They are aware, and I believe they withdrew their application to do the extension, the 12-foot extension on.
Oh, they did withdraw their
I
application.
believe they did.
When I had last heard, I guess it was about 2 days ago, so it could have changed. They had adjourned or postponed it.
Adjourned.
They had formally.
Apologize. Yes, it was adjourned. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, right. So it's now going to be the following month. Okay.
Correct. I think
didn't know
they got the notice. My guess is they got the notice and they're reconsidering the application.
Okay, so then we have.
Yes, that's
a month
right,
to
Tom.
figure
That's
it all out.
correct.
So
Yep.
yeah, I just wanted you to come because I don't really know that it's a completely different world, all of this kind of stuff, to let the council know kind of like what kind of things that we're doing going back and forth. And this is a very unique situation where all of a sudden now we may have the opportunity to own the tower ourselves.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity throughout Bergen County. A lot of municipalities that have are finding themselves at the end of their
Lease from
correct.
what, a 30-year
25, 30-year lease.
initially?
Yeah. So now they're all
Yeah.
expiring, and it's again, it's $250,000 in your pocket you didn't have before. So it's and a lot of municipalities who don't have the proper counsel, to come in and have the wherewithal, the wisdom to do it. A lot of extending for 10, 15 years, and they're
Right,
throwing
no,
away.
realizing.
But not Allendale. You caught it in time, and your council was wise to flag.
Very forward thinking.
Yep, it was. Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you.
Of course, I'll wait. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. So now we'll have agenda review. We have introduction to an ordinance. This is an ordinance, a capital ordinance for various improvements. The major improvement is the ADA bathrooms at the firehouse, as well as some improvements at Borough Hall. And then our consent agenda, oops, I forgot our resolution. We have our other resolution 24-06. This is the fourth time, or the second reading now that we've had to produce this. So this is where we actually changed our committees. So we kind of went through this. We had a committee. The committee decided that for this next year, we're gonna alter the committees a little bit. So just the process to go about that is a series of resolutions. So this is, I think, the last one. Then our consent agenda, which are matters that are usually considered routine, but I'd like to actually bring some to everybody's attention because this council does a lot of great work. So one is that we are awarding the Allendale ADA Firehouse renovation to HM company. We're also going out to authorize the solicited bids for the construction of our new concession stand at Crestwood Lake.
Yes.
Would you like to chat about that at all, Tyler?
I can bring it up in my report if
Okay,
that's appropriate.
great. Yep, that's fine. We also have a resolution authorizing the sewer connection between the Borough of Allendale and Saddle River. And this was a very, very, very long and drawn out process. This is for one of their fair share housing 126 unit properties on Watchaw Trail, which is right on the border of Saddle River, which they have to actually come into our sewer line. So we had to come up with this agreement because there is improvements that they have to do to the line to enable everything to work properly, as well as making sure all the fees, and it was very fair for Allendale. We will be going through this again very shortly because Saddle River, we just found out, is having another 275 unit complex being built again on the border of Allendale that want to come through our sewer system. So this, luckily, we were smart in this negotiation. Saddle River was trying to push us to have the negotiations with the developer, and we just said absolutely not. Liz Homan was actually great. The lawyer came at us, and they came at us again, and we just held steadfast, and we said absolutely not. We do not want to deal with the developer. We're only dealing with Saddle River. So this is actually setting us up nicely for the next one. We cannot just tell them, no, you can't use our sewer, even though we would love to say that, because these are inclusionary developments. And if they did that and we fought it, we would lose. It's happened all over the state. However, we are going to make sure that our sewer can handle theirs as well as ours, and as well as potential other building that we could have in Allendale. So these are not very easy negotiations. And we will, like I said, be embarking on this one other time in the very near future. Okay, where was I? Oh, we are also granting authorization for a grant that we received, Bergen County Open Space, for the first phase of the tennis court. So you want to cover that in your report as well?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That'll be a big bonus to our community. And don't forget to mention that we're going to put pickleball lines on it,
Of course, Walter.
or else we'll get in trouble. And right, Walter?
Tennis courts at Crestwood.
Okay. Getting new tennis courts, you didn't hear?
We'll talk about.
So we also have a resolution designating our very own John Gill, Director of Communications, to act as our municipal clerk on April 25th. So that should be a fun meeting. We also have some approval of Crestwood Lake membership. We are very happy to be able to donate to our local organizations. So we have another one of those. Let's see. Haas Construction was awarded to actually do the renovation of the kitchen at Borough Hall. And appointment of our recycling coordinator is Kerry again. And let's see. And approval of the bill list. Suzanne, did you have a peek at that?
I did.
All righty. All right. So now we can go back and vote. Resolution 20. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to open up to the public. Does anybody from the public have anything to speak about? Walter, come on up. Pardon?
Yeah.
On
Agenda
agenda.
item.
On agenda item. Come on up.
Walter Whitmer, 30 Hamilton. Since you brought up the tennis at Crestwood Lake, I wish to say I'm very, very glad that Northern Highlands has given us permission to use their courts.
Yeah.
That is a blessing, because those are real tennis courts.
We're gonna have real ones too, Walter, though.
The ones at Crestwood Lake are to be, that can be discussed. They look pretty, I will say that. But as far as tennis is concerned, they're for the birds.
I don't disagree with you, but at
And
the
it-
time when we were doing those tennis courts, it was a grant. And the cost of the real tennis courts was upwards of over $250,000. And tennis wasn't really popular back then, and it's kind of making a comeback. So I think now is the time. They actually served their purpose. It was done with a grant, and now we're going to do them the real way. So you'll be very happy.
Would you explain the real way?
So, not using the sport court material that's on there now. So it'll actually, I mean, the problem with that area is that it needs a lot of drainage work and it needs a lot of engineering. Those courts are over 40 years old. If you see where they're located, there's a lot of water that comes down from Northern Highlands. So there's a lot of engineering work that's going to be involved, and it's going to be a tennis court. So I don't think it's macadam, but it's not the sport court, whatever they make tennis courts out of.
I don't think were they done with sport court product?
It
or
wasn't
it was
sport court
something
product.
similar, yeah.
Sport
okay. I
court
just wanted to
was
make
the
sure it
grant spec.
wasn't sport.
It was the grant spec
We don't
material.
specify.
Yeah,
anything.
it's like, you know, you say Xerox machine, but they're not always Xerox,
Yeah,
it's like that.
Just
But
to
it's not
clarify,
technically sport
right,
court,
right.
yeah. But it was a mechanism that's similar to that.
Now, with regard to the young man who gave his talk,
Mhm.
as a citizen in town, can I have access to the information?
What information would you like?
Pardon me?
Yeah, just let us know what information that you would like, and absolutely you have access to it.
Well, I'd like to have at least an understanding of what he was talking about.
That's why I had him
This-
explain it. It's not an easy topic.
This 5G thing is new to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. I'm sure you have material, right, that we can supply?
Absolutely there.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome, Walter. Anybody else from the public on agenda items? Not seeing anybody? Do I have a motion to approve resolution 24-06?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second,
Councilwoman Lovasolo?
yes.
Councilman O'Connell?
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole?
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino?
Yes.
Mayor, we should reflect that particular resolution by virtue of the bylaws required the affirmative vote of at least 4 members of the council, and that there were 4 members voting in the affirmative.
Excellent, thank you. All right, next is our ordinance. This is our first reading, and the second reading was set for the public comment on February 22nd, 2024 at 7:30. Ordinance 24-02. Linda, will you please read that ordinance?
Ordinance 24-02, capital ordinance of the Borough of Allendale in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing various public improvements in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $82,000, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from the capital improvement fund of the borough.
Do I have a motion? Ordinance 24-02.
So moved, Lovasolo?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, great.
Councilwoman Lovasolo?
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell?
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole?
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino?
Yes.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Councilwoman Lovasolo?
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell?
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole?
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino?
Yes.
Excellent. Council report. Councilman Yakarino.
Thank
first
you,
to
Mayor.
go.
It's changed to go first to last, but there's been a lot of
Moving on
exciting.
up.
There's been a lot of exciting things going on in the facilities committee to start the year. Things that have carried over from last year and into this year. Most of us in this room, or all of us, I should say, have been to Crestwood, are members of Crestwood, and we experience what a great place it is to be. And we're working on several things to make it even better. One of the things that we've discussed in meetings in the past is the concession stand at Crestwood Lake, which on tonight's agenda, we awarded phase 1 to our professional services architect. Tomorrow, we're going to be having a follow-up meeting to look at revisions to the plans. We've been working very closely with DPW, Tom Viscardi, the lake director, Amy and myself, looking at what we have today and where the shortcomings are, other than it being an old structure, and how we can optimize it for many years to come, such as reconfiguration and things that just make sense in terms of flow. So we are investing a lot of time to make a structure that's going to last the long term in terms of build quality, but also flow. So more news to come on that. We are going to be working on the demolition of the existing structure in the near future, but without leaving shortfalls for the 2024 season. We'll have provisions in place to make sure that we meet Bergen County's requirements to pass inspection, but also provide some concession options as well as restrooms for the 2024 season. But we did make the determination that the financial investment to keep the structure going for this season is not ideal. So we will have something in lieu to also provide, adequate services to the lake members.
Yep.
Also on the agenda, we talked about the grant for phase 1 of the tennis courts. Walter, as you mentioned, the Northern Highlands tennis courts, they are, so to speak, proper tennis courts, using your terminology. We did preliminarily speak with the high school previously last year. We did receive some valuable information with them in terms of the do's and do nots, and since they had recently gone through the process, so we are aware of what the high school went through, and in terms of how we could take their experience and translate it into our project here. So as Amy also mentioned, we will have pickleball lines at popular request due to the ever-evolving player base of the sport. So the tennis courts, that's another project we have on the boilerplate. Also, with regard to Crestwood, we've started to have conversations with our staff at Crestwood to talk about our events for the 2024 season, scheduling and process improvements. So we really have a lot going on in the facilities committee. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but we're really excited to get a lot of these projects and initiatives off the ground. And I also wanted to say my thanks to Suzanne, Amy, and Allison for their work in sprucing up, and also John and Linda and everybody involved in these projects, getting everything painted and the kitchen project. So I want to express my thanks to that. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it really is starting to look so great. I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, even in that front hallway downstairs, when you walk in, there's some nice new changes down there, including the lettering that says Borough Hall over the door down there. So if you didn't see that, notice it, because it's looking great. Allison, you and your team have just been doing an amazing job. Thank you for everything. So our land use, I'm going to have wearing a couple different hats tonight. Our land use committee, we met on Tuesday, January 23rd. Joining me in attendance were our mayor, Councilman Deloisio, our code official, Anthony Hackett, our DPW superintendent, Andy Gugliero, and our borough engineer, Mike Vreeland. We start our meetings with discussing residential property issues. And of the nearly 12 individual issues that we discussed and have been discussing, I'm happy to say that half of them have really been resolved or are on the verge of being resolved, and the remainder are being looked into further by our professionals. So we really do take time discussing people's situations and trying to work up workable solutions for all. We spent some time discussing flooding issues in our town. It's really an all hands on deck issue right now that crosses a lot of committees, public safety, our police department, our DPW, land use. So it is something that we are looking into in town and figuring out the best way to start alleviating some of the issues. We ended our meeting with some proposed code tweaks, whether it's clarifying the wording of our code or tightening up some of the gray areas. We're always taking a look at it and readdressing it, and I'm sure 5G will now be a big part of what we're working on as well. We had our finance committee meeting on Friday, January 26th. We started the months-long process of reviewing the previous year's expenditures and predicting our costs and our projects and our priorities for the upcoming year. We will have a finance team meeting or two, so we do have a member here who is part of that. So thank you for joining us tonight. We also had our Green Team meeting this week. Mark Savastano, who is our chairman of the Green Team, is here tonight. And at that Zoom meeting, we discussed our Allendale Recycling and Spring Cleaning Day, which this year will be Saturday, April 27th. I believe, Mark, you have a few things to say when you get up. Okay, I'll let you do that when you get up. And in addition to that, I have a quick little report from Nancy Claus, who is our director of our library, for our kids. And we have two of them here joining us tonight. Thank you, ladies, for being here. In February, in addition to the regular programs, the following special programs are going to be happening. Make a Valentine will be on February 14th, which is actually Valentine's Day. The Star Lab Planetarium will be on February 21st. Slime Time on February 21st as well, and a winter-themed diorama class on 2/28. Special adult programs are, I guess there's a local author named Ellen Postolowski who will be giving a talk on February 27th about her book, Gut Driven, and she's going to share important information about her approach to healthy eating and cooking. And then
That's Jeannie Kunish's sister.
that's right. I knew the name rang a bell. That's right. And then our Adult Winter Reading Club continues through March 18th. Participants log the number of pages they read to earn raffle tickets for a chance to win a cozy reading basket at the end of the program. The popular Blind Date with a Book event began on February 1st and continues through the 17th. Patrons select a wrap book based on clues provided by our library staff. They're invited to fill out a Rate Your Date card to be included in a raffle for a box of Godiva chocolate. So as usual, our library is doing a lot of fun things for the next coming months. And that is it. Oh, and also I just want to, you know what, I'm going to, Allison, if you want to just update on the painting project. When you do yours, you can do it.
You got it.
Thank you.
Actually, Councilman O'Connell, do you have anything to report?
I have nothing to report. I would like to say, so I looked at the plans for our new concession stand and I love the layout and I'm so excited for that project to get moving. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Councilman O'Toole.
Thank you,
Sounds
Mayor.
terrible.
In addition to a few meetings over the past couple of weeks to discuss some personnel matters, the Public Safety Committee met this past Tuesday. At that meeting, we found that our two new officers are doing extremely well in their field training. They're coming to the end of their training and are just about ready to hit the ground running. We're going to be moving ahead with a second speed sign on McIntyre Lane. Some of our emergency services personnel will be making presentations at the upcoming Northern Highlands Career Day to talk to the students about police, fire, and EMS's careers, and hopefully pick up some young volunteers. Because
That's
we could
gonna be
use
great. Yep.
currently, our fire department's ladder truck is out of service while waiting for some parts. And while being returned to the firehouse today by the repair company, the driver struck some overhead conduit in the firehouse, necessitating some electrical repairs, but no damage to the building itself.
Not one of our drive.
Not one of our
Yes.
guys, the mechanic, the repair guy.
Yeah.
The fire department is still fully operational and ready to respond to any emergencies. You may have seen some videos on YouTube of DWI arrests of young women. These videos are not released by the police departments, rather they're opened by content creators and released for views and ultimately to make money. I encourage everyone, if you come across these videos, to not watch them and encourage this practice. I know Mayor Wozinski has been in contact with Senator Shapisi to put an end to this, hopefully. Not only is it making extremely public what is possibly one of the lowest points of these people's lives, but the time that it takes for our officers to redact all sensitive information and review everything can be put to much better use. If there is one positive aspect to this, there were two from Allendale, and it shows our officers being completely professional and compassionate to these young women. And finally, a reminder that on March 28th, we'll be hosting the Gary Letizia Memorial Blood Drive. There is currently a tremendous blood shortage, so please come out and roll up your sleeves. That's all I've got.
Yeah, you know, the Oprah thing that really just got to me, because we've always had problems with Oprah. It's been abused for years. You know, the sentiment behind it was that you're supposed to have transparent government, right? So that's the good part. However, there's been so many people who have abused it. The loopholes all to get a gain. We've had to hand over personal emails of our residents. We've had to hand over personal addresses for our residents, people who have had dogs, for people who are trying to gain business. It's been awful. Every time we go to the league, we always go to one of those seminars. We've gotten up to speak many times, and they're kind of like robots out there. They're just like, "Yep, sorry, there's nothing we can do." But this is like gone to a completely other level where they're taking the body cams, which are now required by everybody in the state, correct, to wear. And they're zeroing in on young women that have, are in a vulnerable time, as Matt said, and really just exploiting them. And they're getting millions of views and like hundreds of comments. So it's really, really awful. So, as Councilman O'Toole said, I have reached out to, the senator, who's amazing, and hopefully she never heard of it. So it's kind of, I guess, in the forefront. So she's gonna let us know if there's anything, and maybe this will be just the one thing that we can finally put Oprah, to an end.
Mike,
So.
on the 2 videos in question, we have to take the footage, we have to export it, we have to edit it, if you had to put a number to it, how many hours do you think that takes for one of those videos?
So each video was approximately 1 hour in length. It took about 4 hours to redact each video.
And if
So a
that's
full
not-
day's work for the 2 videos.
And if
It's
it's not you doing it, it's one of the other officers.
correct.
So
We're
we're
taking away.
somebody off the road to redact videos
was-
that somebody are using.
Also, Amanda, Richards also
Yep.
goes through them
Right.
herself, per the advice of Ray West, and that also takes
Takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's really tough on a small municipality, honestly. So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Staff reports. We'll start with John Gill.
Just beginning of the month, the newsletter is being composed, so if you have any articles, tomorrow's the deadline, but of course it'll always be extended further.
No one would say that. Our deadline.
And it's just reality of it all, so
There.
yeah, please, if you have anything, I'd like to get that in, get that out as soon as possible.
Oh, it's already.
And then just the working with our great team on doing the improvements here at Borough Hall.
Thanks so much. Allison Alfano.
Okay. So we've officially started, with our finance committee meetings, going over the 2024 budget. So far, first draft budget, and it's looking good. So we still have many more meetings and revisions to do, but, I think it'll be smooth this year. On top of that, we also have begun working on our capital budget, comprising all of the different departments, the needs, and how else we can make improvements to the borough moving forward. Part of that is the improvements to the actual borough that we have been working on diligently over the last couple of weeks, between getting the painting done, which they started on Monday, and we were hoping for them to be done tomorrow with the complete upstairs, but might go into Monday because there's a lot of committees, a lot of groups, a lot of planning that we have had to schedule around, and it has been very difficult, but we have managed. So probably Monday, we will be completed up here with the council chambers, the loft, our conference room, and the coat room. And then from there, we do have to pick out some carpeting. So we'll do the carpeting, pictures on the walls, and just get upstairs complete.
And just to interrupt, the pictures on the wall, we actually went out for a history grant, and we received the history grant. So we are going to get reproductions of all Allendale pictures and just have like all historical pictures all over the wall. So it's really going to look nice in here for the residents.
Yeah, it's gonna look really nice. And then on top of up here, we have within the borough, we took on our own little project downstairs in the foyer and just tried to spruce it up down there, clean it up, and everybody has been helping me, between John, Amanda, the DPW. Pretty sure, how many times have I asked you, John, can you help me with something over the last 2 weeks? But it's coming together, little improvements just to make it nicer for the residents and mayor and council and the staff. And yeah, so just looking forward to continuing it, getting the job done.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Our clerk, Linda.
Thank you.
Sabina.
Just an update on animal licensing. To date, we have about 230 dogs and 10 cats registered. As of February 1st, there will be a $5 late fee for late registration. Also, Resolution 24-75, a resolution designating John Gill as acting clerk for the April 24th mayor and council meeting, is because I will be attending the Municipal Clerks Association Education Conference in Atlantic City that week. But I have full confidence in John Gill in fulfilling that role, and I thank him for that. And that's about it. I did go into the clerk's closet, and I'm starting to, I just got approval to get rid of a lot of old files.
That's great.
So I'm waiting for a shredding day, and we're just gonna clean up that closet, and then after that, go to the other storage facility and get rolling with that.
Super. Excellent. Chief Mike Dillon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll stipulate Councilman O'Toole's report with one brief comment about the Oprah. So, thank you first and foremost for taking such a stance on this, because it's really a matter of transparency versus exploitation. And it's a very vulnerable time in these people's lives. In my 20 plus years of law enforcement, police work is sometimes raw and upsetting. Typically not something I would ever want to put on display, but unfortunately completely out of our control for the time being. I look forward to for future legislation that prevents this. And I do deeply appreciate, as my staff does, your willingness to have this discussion and also to evoke some sort of support from our higher political
this
parties.
one
Thank you.
unfortunately has to go. We have to elevate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course. Councilman Ray West. I mean,
Whatever.
come on.
Move down.
Thank you, Mayor. Just picking up on what the chief said, I know that there was a proposal pending in the lame duck session to try to limit some of the scope of Oprah. Unfortunately, it didn't move in the lame duck session, and seems to have lost a little bit of traction now that the Senate and the Assembly have reconvened. So we could just have to wait and see on that. The last couple of weeks since our last meeting have actually been very, very busy on several fronts, working with the Public Safety Committee with respect to several matters that we have with the PBA and trying to reach closure on those issues. We have been involved with the renewed lease agreement with the ABAC building. Certain matters, not including a Rye fire truck running into a building involving the fire department, that are still brewing. Working with Anthony Hackett on a couple of property issues where he talked to us about permits and the like. With the chief on certain departmental matters over the last couple of weeks. As some of you are aware, we had a 7:30 Zoom meeting this morning on, I guess, the last aspects, even though there's some significant ones, regarding the sale of the water utility to Veolia. We're also in that context working with Green Acres to resolve some related issues on properties to be transferred to Veolia. And as the mayor mentioned, it's nice this evening to have brought to fruition the sewer agreement with Saddle River. That was, I wouldn't say it was an arduous process, but it was a lengthy process. Good to have that done. They approved their companion resolution last Monday, so that is brought to closure. But as the mayor said, no sooner is that one done than we know that they have pending before them an application that started this week with respect to the conversion of the office building to another 275 units, which would certainly involve some type of an overture to the borough on the sewer flow from that project. And there are open questions in terms of, first of all, it's not provided for anywhere in our agreements with Saddle River. And secondly, there's a real question as to whether we would have the capacity to do that in any event. So those are rather significant issues that are pending. Relatedly, we are about to commence our negotiations / discussions with Ramsey, because they are also a municipality that runs their sewer flow through our system. So having brought Saddle River to a close, we open up another front in dealing with Ramsey. As was mentioned earlier, the cell tower issue has become quite topical. Tom Borgi from my office been engaged in that quite a bit. Obviously, a major situation with the existing lease and the structure that we've known to expire at the end of May. And it is with that closure, and I think it was mentioned before, brings opportunity, and hopefully it's a very positive opportunity for the borough. And I guess lastly is our involvement in our ongoing litigation with PK involving the acquisition of that which was formerly known as 220-230 and also known as Black Millworks. And that litigation continues, and I guess we anticipate having a case management conference on that with the court next week. That's it, Mayor.
All right. And speaking of 220, we actually had the ribbon cutting today. So it's been a long time coming when we first acquired that property via potentially eminent domain and then negotiated a deal, I think was back in 2017, 2018. Been working on it ever since. So it's been, as I said, a very long time coming. There was a big crew there. There was a big Allendale contingency there. We had from the council, Tyler Yacarino and Suzanne Lovasolo and Matt O'Toole. John Gill also joined us. Andy was there, our DPW supervisor.
Councilwoman Homan.
Councilwoman Homan was there, and did I say Anthony? I did say Anthony. Who am I missing? Mayor Meredith was there. So Oh, and Mike Dillon, our chief, and as well as some of our police officers who had the opportunity to actually go through the building for safety purposes, which was actually a good opportunity for them. Mayor Meredith and Liz Holman, have been on the team from the very beginning, and I think the common thread is Ray West, who's been on it for quite some for the duration as well.
Should give me a unit.
All of us have got a unit. But Hampshire also had a big contingency there because they all knew, so this project was just very unique in that there was so many times when the project was ready to go belly up. And I do have to say that they are an amazing company to partner with because, they gave some, we gave some, and that's what really a true partnership is all about. But because of the environmental issue that we had that, Ray was referring to, it delayed us for a very long time. They had the opportunity that they could have pulled out. Then there was COVID. Then there were supply chain issues. Developers do not hang on to properties for a long amount of time. They buy them, they develop them, they get out. But John Hanson, developed a friendship with Mayor Meredith Barra and was a man of his word, quite frankly. And, we went back to him when we thought the deal was going down again, and he just kept on saying, you've got, you have my word, you have my word. And if you really look up the company, you will see that they really are a company with integrity, because let me tell you something, if we did have to go out to bid, it would have been hundreds of units because those were the other bids that we got. So to keep it alive was very, very important. And it was just a very, very great day. So John Hanson is, as I mentioned, is the chairman. He's also in the New Jersey Hall of Fame, and he's also actually on the board right now. So at the end, I said, we have this big project, this mural project that we're working on. So I asked him if he would support the mural project. Just happened to slip him. I'm like, I may be so bold. And I just got an email before he got here that they're donating $10,000 to our mural project.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm really super excited about that. So the mural project, this is a project, hopefully everybody heard of it. So I've been trying to get it out there to the community. It was actually the Simon Rigg, who is an artist, sculptor, Allendale resident, approached me again before COVID. We kind of had this plan, which we're just about to unveil it to the community, and then we had to put it on hold. Fast forward now again, and it's this awesome project, but it's a very overwhelming project, and it's going to be this amazing work of art. Simon is a renowned sculptor. If you read the 201 magazine that just came yesterday, you'll see what I mean. It's also actually on my Borough Facebook page. So he is going to be working with all of the schools. He's already been in touch with all 3 schools. The schools have fast forwarded, so that's why we're, crazy fundraising, and everybody is so excited. So it was 30 years ago that the original mural was put on the side of the wall. It was from Style Thomas, started it, and it's the same tenants that we have today. So he brought the community together, he brought history together, and then they did the art on the wall. And we're doing the exact same thing. So we are bringing the community together. We have all the kids. There's also a lot of community members involved. We worked with our borough historian for hours to actually pick the different types of historic pieces of like buildings, but we also wanted to capture the essence of Allendale. So we are going to have some of the clubs on there. We also have, of course, our celery farm on there and areas. The AB&G is actually going to be on there because that is historic, as well as everybody knows the AB&G when it comes to Allendale. And then, of course, the art piece is that we've got this amazing artist doing it. So it's going to be It's going to be big. It's going to be fabulous. So we just encourage everybody. There's fundraisers that are going to be happening to please, community all come together, because the borough is not actually funding the project, but we actually are in support of the project. And I also wanted to thank the Holiday Observers because they donated $5,000 as well. So the community is slowly come together. Last night their meeting, they approved that. So that was really super. And I want to also thank Allison and the staff because it's so nice to come into this space, and not just for obviously us, it's really for the community to have a nice space to come to our meetings, but also our staff. We wanted the staff to have a nice place to work, and we hadn't redone this place in 30 something years. That kitchen was terrible. So now hopefully when that's done, they'll have a nice place to go and get away from their desk, and then they'll have a nice place to come to work every day. So that's very important, not just to me, to everybody on the council. And then after the meeting today, we are going to have our closed session where we're going to go over our 2024 goals for the borough and for each council person. And it's a closed session because I want the council to all come together and all of us to come together to create the goals, not just me. And then when we're ready, we're going to have a series of town halls, at least 4. We're also going to have some coffees with the mayor and council and be as transparent as possible to the community. I mean, we really want to put all our goals and visions out there for everybody and get everybody's feedback and see what they want and see what the community wants and incorporate that into our goals. So that is going to be actually after the session. So that is my report. So is there any unfinished business?
Mayor, just one quick amendment to my report, which I failed to mention, since we have some residents. As the council is aware, on the week of March 11th, the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission will be having their mobile unit at the firehouse throughout the whole week. So if you still are in need of a real ID, you could do it in Allendale. So that's going to be the highlight of their trip to Allendale, license plate returns, vehicle registration renewals, and a couple of other services. So John and I have been working on getting some information out. So the week of March 11th, there will be signups. You make an appointment, you go to the firehouse, you can get a real ID, which is the highlight, and a couple other things. So just wanted to mention, we had some residents and more to come.
Great. Any other unfinished business? Any new business? Okay, next we have public comments on any matter. Anybody from the public wish to speak on any matter? Mark, come on.
Mayor and council, this is loud. A little
It's a new
different
one.
than.
It's a new one.
It's a
Like
new
it.
one, yeah, wow.
The
Okay.
microphone thing?
The base.
Oh, the base.
Before I mention about the Green Team meeting, I have a few questions. And I'm not sure, Matt, if this is directed to you and or the chief. With regard to who's responsible for maintaining Franklin Turnpike. And with regard to the crosswalks.
The county road. County is.
I know there were plans by Bergen County to pave Franklin Turnpike from the Ramsey border to the Waldwick
There is.
line. So I would imagine that the crosswalks will be restriped at that point when they restripe the road.
Can we request that they put those flashing lights similar to what we have in the center of town at the crosswalks that cross over to the celery farm? So I don't get accosted by speeding cars when I go to walk there. How do we request that? Who would we direct it to?
I guess we'll have to direct that to Andy, our DPW supervisor.
You mean just one at the celery farm cross?
Well, at
over?
least one of them, if there would be the light that you can press to cross.
Crestwood in downtown. You press the button.
No, not Crestwood. Oh, similar to that.
Similar
Yes.
to the one right
Yes,
on West Crestwood.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and then what would happen? So they have their team of engineers too, and they may have reasons for it or for against it. So it's something we could suggest, but it's not something that we could say we actually want. To
Well,
have on
yes,
there.
we could request it and
I can yes.
state why. I'd be happy to write a letter as to why I think
and
it's
sometimes
necessary.
residents too are not very appeasable to have flashing things in front of their house too, and sometimes the
Okay.
flashing things are distracting.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's not like a done deal.
Yeah. The other issue is at Cottage Place. I know the sidewalk ends on the the
On the-
southbound
on the
side.
Fellhouse side.
And there's no crosswalk there, although it tells you to cross over to the other side of the street. There's no crosswalk on that, at that point. So it might be something that they would consider adding.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Um, and I wanted to ask, and you brought this up, Suzanne, during your report, regarding surface water. I'm sorry I missed that planning board meeting because I wanted to ask if there is any current ordinance, and also Mr. West, regarding surface water in Allendale, about it having to stay on the property and not diverting it onto other properties.
Usually handled as part of an application, you know, where the applicant would demonstrate what the flow is, how it's accounted for. And I don't know exactly the characteristics, but, you know, typically it's done on an application by application basis.
For,
Impervious surface coverage.
and this
you know,
is at the
drainage,
time of construction, or,
typically.
and so if there's a problem now, how is that addressed?
I don't know whether the problem would be at variance with whatever the specifications were on an approved application.
Yeah.
Dealing with a, you know, multi-dwelling unit project or a
No,
single property.
it's a neighboring property, that was developed in the past and now is, the problem is getting worse because of the change in weather.
Probably something
Yeah.
Mike Beedlin would have to look at to see what his opinion is in terms of
Okay,
causality and, you know,
so I
whose
can
problem it is.
speak to the borough engineer about it?
Yeah, is
that
it a
right?
particular, you know, property that you can identify?
Honestly, I don't know the property address. It abuts my, the property that I own. It's a rental property. And, the issue is that a swell was put in to intentionally drain the water off of the property.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah.
cautious, because sometimes that can be a private remedy as opposed to a
Yeah,
public situation.
so there's
So,
no
Mark, you
ordin-
can report, so there's two ways to report a concern, right? You know, on our website, there's the one little tag where you can report a concern, and then it
Yeah.
will be sent to the
Directed
department
to
that
Okay.
directly, you know, can answer it.
Yeah,
And also you can just go into our building department and
ask
express your
them?
concern. Mhm.
okay, I wanted to go to the correct place. so
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony can help you.
Okay. Okay, so, moving on, we did have a very productive meeting, Mayor, for the Green Team. And just briefly, the Earth Day event / Allendale Cleanup Day is growing. And, we're trying to build on the success from last year. The list of items that we'll be collecting, just to make, the public aware, electronics like last year, medicine, and thank you to the chief for participating along with Valley Hospital. Paper shredding from the county. We're having a clothing collection in addition to the one that's being held at the Fell House on that day as well. We're having a collection of EPS styrofoam, plastic bags, hopefully either the ShopRite or Acme. If not, then the clothing collector accepts those as well. We're going to have speakers about food waste, water conservation. We'll be selling our backyard compost bins and mortar barrels. We just got another order today. We're going to have the neighborhood cleanup like we did last year. And something new is X-ray film collection. So we'll collect those films and deliver them to a company in Bloomingdale that recycles them by extracting the silver that's in those films. And we'll be taking food donations for the community food bank.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's looking to be a very exciting event. And
Hopefully no rain.
yes, hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. But in any case, we're looking forward to having the event again, and thank you for that.
Great, thanks, Mark.
And
You're
Mark,
welcome.
I know
Thank
you and I discussed, you know,
Yes.
alternate venues, so, you know, we definitely want to have a formidable partnership between the Green Team and of course us. So once we get through this year's Earth Day, you know, I'm happy to pick up those conversations with you again.
Okay.
Based on, you know, how we, you know, saw things go this year.
Yeah.
But definitely want to continue the conversation. So
Great.
I just wanted to mention that too.
Thank you, Tyler. All righty.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor and
Oh,
Council.
and as always, we thank CERT for when they come out and help out on that day.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for not mentioning.
All right. Anybody else from the public? You have any Girl Scouts that want to come up and say hi? Want to come up and just put your name, if your name's on the record, to prove that you were here. All you have to do is state your name. Come on, we're really friendly. We're really, really friendly. Do we have any giveaways or anything? Brian? No? Oh. All right, I don't want to.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Walter's gonna be.
Walter wants to give away.
Are you coming up again, Walter? Okay, come on up.
say it that way. Walter Woodruff, 38 Hamilton. Is there any charge relative to Allendale, the Saddle River connection?
Mhm. Yeah, so there's,
Who's
it's all,
carrying that?
so it's based on flow, and, we also actually did put, up, an admin charge for all the time that we have to actually, lawyers' time, engineering's time, because it is our system. So there is definitely, charge. We don't let them use it for free. Absolutely not.
Will some of it be on us? Or do they
Well,
pay it?
what happens, it's based on flow, so it's a percentage. So they pay a certain percentage and we pay a certain percentage.
The same thing with Ramsey?
Correct.
Yeah, the engineers have calculated the amount of flow that is generated by Allendale residences and business establishments, and likewise the amount from Saddle River. So that's the formula on proportionality. And then, as the mayor said, ultimately it goes to the county. The county has their charge. So the percentage is allocated between the two municipalities based on flow. The county charge is covered. And then, as the mayor said, there's an administrative surcharge that we add to the bill of Saddle River to cover the fact that we are the conduit or pass-through.
There's meters too, throughout. That's how they calculate it.
Would you be kind enough to give me a hard copy of the blood collection date?
Indeed.
'Cause I have to have it in writing.
We have them right downstairs.
Pardon me?
We have them right downstairs, printed out, ready for you.
Good. Relative to the new chairs, they're very pretty. What's the,
Are you gonna be uncomfortable?
Five.
What do you?
Give it contouring time. Contouring time.
No, what?
also the paint job, thank you.
Okay, I thought there was a big butt coming.
No,
Okay.
no. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Walter.
Walter. All right, I'm gonna give one more time for the Girl Scouts. Come on up.
Yay!
Okay, state, you can put the microphone down a little bit. Why don't you, one of you go at a time. First, state your name
I'm Mila Murphy,
and where do you live?
Allendale, New Jersey.
What street?
East Allendale.
Great, super. And what grade are you in?
7th.
7th grade. And are you going for a badge? Is that why you're here?
Yeah, I'm going for citizenship in in the community merit badge for
Okay,
scouting.
super, excellent. And what is your name?
I'm Emma Gibbons,
And where do you live?
Donnybrook Drive.
On Donnybrook Drive. Are you going for 7th grade as well?
Yeah.
And the same badge?
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the mayor and council meeting? Was it boring or was it exciting?
It was really interesting.
Was it interesting?
To hear about.
Do you have any questions for us about anything in Allendale? Anything you want? Crestwood? Any?
No.
Nothing? What do you think of our new chairs? Are they comfortable? All right. Well, thanks for coming out. Come by again. We like to have people come to our meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Excellent. See, now you're on the record forever. All right. Anybody else from the audience wish to speak? All right. With that, I would like to introduce Resolution 24-85 and ask for a motion to approve to authorize the governing body to enter into a closed session to discuss the 2024 goals and strategy plan of the governing body.
Can we just add as well as contractual matters and prospective litigation?
Oh, yes. Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. So that is the end of our meeting.
Councilwoman
roll call, sorry.
Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell,
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole,
Yes.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
So that is the end of our meeting. As soon as we get done, we're gonna adjourn. So, good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everybody.
Aye.
Have a good night.
Good night, Ed.
Feel better, Ed.
Bye, feel better.
Thank you.